Trans activists will claim that bills banning medical transition for people under 18 demonstrates a war against trans people. Many who take this at face value, and I think some of them in our audience, well-meaning, because they just have not seen the information. They've never seen the kind of footage that may be driving this efforts, like doctors gleefully opining on how much money there is to be made in transitioning kids, doctors proposing using the precedent of taking children away from Christian Scientists or Jehovah's Witnesses parents for refusing, say, chemotherapy as a precedent for taking them away, for refusing to put them on puberty blockers. So I've put together a video, and I want people to know, because for the left, like Tennessee in particular, has become this focal point of, look at these bigots. What you don't know, because your media did not show you, is the videos, the first two videos you're going to see. These are both Vanderbilt University Hospital, which had a children's gender clinic. The first one is the doctor salivating about how much money these procedures make. The second one is an administrator from the hospital saying, if you have a conscientious objection to this, then don't work at Vanderbilt. Wow. That was when the governor of Tennessee and the legislature said, we have to investigate this. You never saw that part. Nope. The part your media showed you was them, the hospital. Oh my God, the bigots are coming after us. You watch this, you watch these videos, and I want you to come back and tell me that you don't think some action against this hospital was appropriate.
Yeah.
So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s. That requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. Now, these I got from the internet, but it's from the Philadelphia Center for Transgender Surgery, which does a lot of surgery for patients. And I just want to give you an idea of how much these bottom surgeries are making. And I think this has to be an underestimate. This is for a vaginoplasty. They're quoting roughly around $20,000 for a vaginoplasty, but that doesn't include your hospital stay. That doesn't include your post-op visits. That doesn't include your anesthesia, your OR. So I would think that this has to be a gross underestimate. I think that's just like the surgeon's piece of it, which anybody who's ever been in the hospital knows that that's like 10% of it. And then the female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate, that they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty. There's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. Yeah. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
But I just want you to take home that saying that you're not going to do something because of your conscientious, because of your religious beliefs, is not without consequences. And it should not be without consequences. And I just want to put that out there. We are given enormous, if you don't want to do this kind of work, don't work at Vanderbilt.
All right, I'm sorry to break the flow, Russell, but I just want to clarify what she was talking about. She's saying you can't claim a religious exemption. You can't claim you are a conscientious objector to these processes and keep your job. We'll force you out anyway.
Yep. And then they released a statement saying that they permit people to act according to their conscience, and the brain dead libs don't see this. They don't see this. And honestly, I don't want to cast it that way, because our own people haven't seen it, because they don't go to the media that would show this.
That's right.
They just don't go to the media that would show this. And this is what I'm trying to fight against here. We are leftists. We are leftists. Whatever the hell those people were in that video that we just showed you before this, they are not left. I don't know what that is. That is not any left that I recognize. Right. That is not justice. This is not justice. You're being told that aligning yourself with these psychopaths and narcissists is a proper left position. So many people who watch this channel come out of the Bernie Sanders movement. I said it when we covered the Riley Gaines thing. You know how the media lies. You remember how in the Sanders campaign, they would say that people threw chairs at the Nevada convention and then show a clip of a wrestling match because they had no footage of it, right? The same thing is happening here. The same thing is being done to you. You're being manipulated the same way. And I brought the receipts for you. I brought the receipts.
Right
I'm showing you right here what they're not telling you.
That's right.
All right, we have more. Sorry, I didn't mean to break the flow. I just wanted to.
So
add
this is the doctor explaining how there's legal precedent for taking children away for not putting kids on puberty blockers. This is what she's talking about.
Don't work at Vanderbilt.
As we've seen, refusing puberty blocking treatment prevents immediate and intense psychological harm, and second, it causes lasting and irreversible physical harm. So we can compare the parents of transgender children opposed to physician-recommended treatment to naturalist parents, so parents who misuse traditional or mistrust traditional Western medicine. Regardless of whether these parents have good intentions, these children are often at risk of harm. So in various cases, the courts have ruled that naturalist parents are required to treat their children according to traditional principles of Western medicine. Not only that, but they're criminally liable if they don't do so.
Wow.
So arguably a similar case could be made with the parents of transgender children.
Okay, you understand? So when you see all of these bills popping up in all of these states, this is why. Because those videos, those are circulating outside of the media that leftists tend to prefer. Right? They are seeing those videos. It's scaring the living hell out of them. And they're saying, we better pass laws putting a stop to this because they're going to take away our kids for refusing to give them a dangerous and experimental treatment. They were telling you 10 minutes ago that puberty blockers had no long-term effects. The CDC just had to update its guidance after the New York Times, which I talked about this on the show at one point. Credit where credit is due. I would never have expected the New York Times to do some honest reporting like that, but they did. And what happened? These organizations came after them, demanded that they change their staff, and you know what? They told them to go get their fucking shine box.
They
I was
did.
very surprised. I was very surprised.
Me too. I was like, yeah, finally, New York Times. I mean, my God. But GLAAD came after them, right? And GLAAD is a really disgusting organization. They used to be good a long time ago, but now they're just about trans. They don't even represent gay and lesbian anymore. It's real everything in the LGBTQIA plus PP poo poo, whatever it is all about trans and queer. Nothing to do with gays and lesbians anymore.
Well, I saw you talk about this, how, you know, there was a group in England where the lesbians were not allowed to march because they had a sign saying we don't like penises.
That's right.
And I saw you talking about this, saying, you know, because if you're going to premise that trans women are women, you have to do this whole Orwellian 2 + 2 = 5 formulation. Therefore, if trans women are women, then you're transphobic if you won't date them, right? So, and I saw you talking about how, well, that's homophobic to impose that on lesbians.
That's right.
They're lesbians.
It is. That they don't want to date dudes. Sorry, you might look like a lady. I might look like a dude. Gay men don't want to date me. I'm not an actual physical intact male. That's not what they're attracted to. And who cares? I'm good with that. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to date me, it's all good, right? Like, why would you want to date someone that doesn't want to date you? Or why would you want to force? So that whole thing, right, is very homophobic. You're forcing same-sex attracted people to date you, or else you're transphobic. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's a cult. That's cult thing.
That's right. That's right.
Please clap.